Do you want him out of the meeting, or as long as
That's
he
the mayor's.
Yes,
decision.
it's fine. Okay. Kathy Reynolds, please. We're talking about the second and final reading of ordinance 2019-2, Decatur County Memorial Hospital.
Okay, last year, seems like last year. Last month, before you was the hospital annexation, and enclosed in your packets should have been a map including the area. Tonight, we're just asking you to finalize the annexation so we can move forward and trying to clean up the hospital's property lines.
Any other question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting. Jamie, you want to go ahead and what Chief said?
Yes, sir. The replacement for the BZA board appointment, I think, does anybody have any names they wanted to submit? I know Kevin, you,
I talked to like 5 or 6 people. Nobody really seemed interested in the one usually I talked to was, that's not what they're, and he told me that if we want him to do it, he'd be willing to do it.
Does he
Matt?
Did you say Matt?
No, usually his dad does.
How often does his dad come?
I've been on BCA for about 2 years, so.
I don't know that he's come a lot. I mean, I would think at that point in time, he would abstain from the vote if that's,
Yeah, I would just want to make sure if he's appointed that he's screened.
He would have to abstain, anything that would be in regards to his property on his father's property, he would have to abstain.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was clear.
Would you be aware of
I had a conversation with him.
Well, not only abstain, I mean, you probably shouldn't talk about those issues with the other members either.
You're not really supposed to, there's guidelines, the do's and don'ts of board zoning appeals that I hand out to new members.
Do you vouch for him?
Yes, I do.
does anybody have anybody else that they thought? I'll make a motion then that we appoint Matt Whitaker.
Second.
I guess, all in favor? Say
Aye.
Okay. Matt's the new BZA man. Okay, Chief Bridges, you're up. Second and final reading on purchase equipment for officers and vehicles. 2019-1.
Do you have any questions on that? Again, it's to fund the new hires and equipment for cars, and then the, I'm sorry, did you say the autism program too?
No, I haven't
Okay.
said that.
Okay, yeah, so just the purchase of equipment for officers and vehicles, new equipment, out of the public safety fund.
Motion approved.
You made a motion?
Yes.
Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The second and final reading for ordinance 2019-3, new funds for autism program, Greensburg PD.
Again, that fund is done solely on donations, grants, anything we receive from the community. We should have around $4,000 once this is, or if this is approved, to start that fund up immediately.
Move to approve. Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief. Okay, Ron May. Ordinance number 2019-4, the vacation of the right-of-way by Kova.
We discussed this in the public hearing as your meeting commenced, but the owners of Kova owns all of this property in here. They have asked to have this portion of Anderson Street vacated, this little piece of alley, and then these two pieces of alley down here, and that is ordinance 2019-4.
So the city wouldn't be responsible for any of this anymore?
They would become, our ordinance stipulates that that property will be divided half and half to each side, which is Kova in every case. So they take title to the property. Any utilities that remain in those areas automatically have an easement, so they may be perpetuated. I'm not sure there are any utilities in there. They utilize much of that ground already.
And you also got those two alleys. Is that those extensions, the red extension?
The alley over here, and then this alley and this alley, actually, so we're three separate alleys.
And I don't want to speak for Ron, but this was a subject of the traffic committee, and he's coming here with some favorable recommendation.
Unanimous recommendation.
I think it's attractive.
I don't think there was any opposition from the public meeting either. I'll make a motion to pass 2019-4.
Okay, second? Motion,
I'll second.
okay. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so passes first reading. Okay, ordinance 2019-5, the vacation of right-of-way by water.
This vacation ordinance is in response to the planned new water treatment facilities for the city of Greensburg. Involved is Ireland Street from the north right-of-way line of 4th Street all the way to the northern termini. The 5th Street from Ireland Street to the property line before you get to the first alley. We would leave public street in front of that one residence so that they have access. Also included is an alley across the north side here that would be all the way to the north-south alley there, and also the alley between 4th and 5th Street all the way to the alley here. My computer battery just died.
Oh, man. I have questions too.
We'll do our best. You have a map, I believe.
It's in, yeah.
And I apologize, I gave
Plan it out, just hold it up.
the draft ordinance had a descriptive error in it on the 5th Street vacation. I gave you a copy tonight and they corrected that. So your question. Oh, and by the way, the two alleys are unimproved. And the plan is to construct a cul-de-sac on 5th Street. It will actually be on an easement on the water plant property. It works out better, and the overall goal is once these vacations are completed, if you agree to them, we will do an administrative subdivision to take all that property and put it in one great big piece so that there's no property lines left within the new water plant. There will be a gate on the cul-de-sac that may be used for regular operations of the water facility with their deliveries, but also, more importantly, for emergency service providers to be able to get in off of that street if needed. Those have nothing to do, I guess, directly with the vacation. That has, sorry?
The other side is gated also, correct?
Yes, the whole plant will be
The intersection of
4th and Ireland.
Yeah, it will be totally fenced in.
This has been before the traffic committee also. They come before the traffic committee because our ordinance says that. And it received unanimous recommendation from the traffic committee. In the process, there are some utilities in there. There's Duke has a line, Vectren has facilities in there, and the city wastewater has some facilities in there. In the process of replatting all of that into one big piece of property, my expectation is that we will plat utility easements where we need them to formalize that part of it.
Move to approve.
Are you satisfied by that?
Is that alley behind there open or closed?
It is unimproved, closed, if you will. On the north side?
Here?
Yes. Both alleys are unimproved.
So this is closed too? I know they use this alley here.
This is still an alley across here,
Here.
but it's unimproved.
Right.
I don't think so. The,
What do you mean you don't think so?
all of the adjoining property owners have been notified.
They have?
Yes.
But the plant's building, there'll be a fence across there anyhow.
For the security of the new water plant, there should be a fence probably
There aren't any utilities on that back alley?
on the north, the one
On
furthest
south?
up on the
South.
south. There is.
That's
Two
what I
gas
thought.
line through there.
I looked there for like years.
And maybe some communications on news overhead. The plan is to put the fence along the north edge of the current alley, only so Duke can get through there. But we would still vacate that alley. The city would get half of it, and the property owners to the south would get the other half.
Okay,
I'll second Darren's motion.
okay. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thanks. Chief Bridges, year-end report.
Where's the dog?
Where's the dog?
Is that working?
Puppy will be back here next month. Child was sick at home, so I told the officer to go home and tend to his family. Just real quick on the year end, kind of want to explain a little bit further on what we kind of did in 2018 and what our outlook is, and I'll keep this brief. I know it's been a long evening in that. First of all, the one thing you're going to see is our arrests were up 300 and our narcotics arrests were up, I think, almost 70. Which can be, I call it a kind of a double-edged sword on parts of it. One, we're putting better trained officers on the streets, and we are definitely trying our hardest to tackle and make a dent into the narcotics issue that we're experiencing, not only us, but unfortunately every community is experiencing. And that one thing you also see is that the calls for service have actually dropped. I credit that to the quality of arrests that officers are making. That is driving down a lot of issues that we have seen with repeat offenders. So what we're wanting to do is for 2019, and that a few programs I would like to put out there real quick is this will be the first time since I've been here that we've actually put an educational based system into the elementary school, which I think is very important because it comes back to the arrests that we are seeing on the street. Like I said, the 1,300 arrests that were made this year, I think, is a credit to the officers doing their job, but also I want to see that number decrease. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a year or two, but we are putting in a program in the elementary to where we will be speaking to the kids in classrooms. Officers will be, teachers and counselors, about social emotional problems, behavioral things that are going on at home, and bullying and that. Unfortunately, one thing that I learned, and I took talking with some of the teachers and that, is they don't like the school delays, and they don't like school being canceled because unfortunately that's the structure that the kids get is school. They get the 2 meals a day and that. So we're just wanting to build upon getting with these kids and talking to them about when they're going to the junior high and high school age, to where maybe we can hold them from getting themselves in trouble. There's a stat out there that says, you have about 20% of the kids that that are going to be just fine. There's another percent that unfortunately that you can't do much for, but there's 60 to 70% of the kids that can teeter each way. And we're wanting to make sure that we hit those 60 to 70 kids and make sure that we're bringing them back on the side of where they can be productive in that. Our school systems are excellent, and that and working with them I think has been a great tool. So like I said, that's something that we're going to actually probably start next week. The program should be here this week, so we'll be getting into those classrooms and everything. Another thing that we're doing that we've never done before also, and I want to thank the council for, one, increasing my manpower, because this is allowing us to do this. Casey Jones is a day shift officer, and he is actually going to be designated as the community officer for the PD. He's already doing community or the neighborhood watch program. He's young, so he's still learning a lot with that. But this year, we're actually going to add additional manpower to day shift, to where he can go out and be on the ground walking on bike and that. Talking to the business owners, talking to the residents, and finding out what concerns they're having, when, where, if it's in the alleyways and that. So, and he's going to report that back to narcotics and patrol officers. So we're trying to build that community relationship a lot more in a positive aspect. So again, the public, if you see the officers out and that, please do not hesitate to talk to them. You do not have, you can remain anonymous on what you're reporting. Again, we just know that we have to have the eyes and the ears of the community for us to effectively do our job. So again, you're going to see officers actually walking around. 2 more things that I'll touch upon, then I'll let you guys go, is I forgot to mention the Board of Works. So one thing I'm wanting to do is definitely speak with some of our recovery groups here in Greensburg. I know we're doing a lot of things. They're holding meetings here and they're having a great turnout, and the mayor and I talked a little bit about it, but I want to sit down and kind of talk with them about how we can maybe reach the others that are having problems in the community, and how we can maybe get out and better serve them in that. So that's one thing we're wanting to do. And the other is we are going to work closely with the Sheriff's Department. We're actually going to look at starting a Decatur County Drug Task Force program, which will include 1 or 2 deputies and 2 GPD officers. And the biggest thing is because we want to make sure that we're communicating and getting all the information that we need. Again, the city residents aren't staying in the city, the county residents aren't staying in the county. They're coming into town, our people are going out in the county. So again, we want to work together to definitely, like I say, get all that information relayed and all that. So again, I want to thank you again for all the support you guys have given us. And again, I think 2019 is going to be a good year. And I will end this note real quick. The girls won in overtime tonight in the sectional, so sectional change. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Chief. Ashlee, 2019-7 Hahn Fund.
The Leona Hahn Fund is actually for the fire department, and, from my understanding, Steve, this is money that a representative donates yearly.
In her
right?
state, she
Okay.
donates money to the Greensburg Fire Department about every year. They'll contact us, whoever handles her account will ask us if we need any equipment or anything. So every year we get some types of monies for equipment or something like that.
But she's usually, or whoever, the representative is usually specific with what they want you to do.
They ask you what you want, and then when you get the money, that's what you use it for. They always, if you just say we don't need, we could use it, but they want to know what you want to spend the money on. So we've used, we have bought auto extrication equipment in the past. This year we're going after water rescue equipment, ice suits. They donated $5,000 to us this year. So we're gonna beef up our ice rescue and water rescue items.
So on my end, basically, because It is donated for specific reasons. We couldn't just put it in the regular fire donations fund. So we have to set up a separate fund, which we just titled, obviously, Leona Hahn. So at any time, we've had that issue in the past of, years previously, we go looking for funds that we're entitled to though, and then we're not sure what they are. So, the Leona Hahn fund should spell it out for anyone that may be here in the future.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Next on the list was reminder of the fund request meeting on February 25th at 6:30 on there. Ron, do you want to give them an update on the Lincoln Street? We'll meet across the street, or across the hall in that building over there. Was there be, airport meeting be in there? Okay, Lincoln Street.
We continue to work. Our contractor didn't work, was it Thursday of last week? Didn't work the rest of last week. All of the sidewalks and curb ramps on the west side of the street are completed. Other than north of Walnut, we've got some pieces of the sidewalk in the block from Walnut to the hospital that the redevelopment commission has decided they'd like to replace, so that'll come a little later. On the east side of the street, we have all of the curb ramps completed except for Hendrick Street and one at the Central on the northeast corner. And the sidewalk between Central and Walnut is not yet complete. If the weather is decent this week and the temperatures look good, rain is the question, we should get all of that concrete work finished. We will still have sidewalks going up to houses to repair. A couple of driveways need some work yet.
They were doing concrete today.
They poured at the corner of Walnut curb ramps there, yes. The street light poles that have been mysteriously absent, we received communication last week that our contractor now has the poles. They are to start pulling the wire, I hope today, but I didn't see them on site. So hopefully tomorrow, and then later in the week, start setting the poles and start erecting the street lights. Otherwise, we're still moving forward. They've started doing a little bit of grading work, filling in behind the curbs and the sidewalks and that. So still moving forward, hoping for early spring and early opening of asphalt plants and be able to get back on that part of it. We still have the block between Hendricks and Walnut that we've got to figure out pavement elevations in there, the concrete elevation actually. And so we have to remove some pavement and figure out where we end up there yet.
Any questions for Ron? Okay. Thank you. Council comments, questions, or? Oh, I forgot.
That meeting was a long time. Okay, several things on the Board of Works agenda this evening. We approved a 5K event for the Sturge Weber Awareness Group. That will be on May 18th, August 24th on Eagles Wing, their 7th year for the 5K event. That was approved also. Via we were actually introduced to Echo. Just want to let you know that.
Did you get your picture taken?
Got my picture taken.
Oh, rub it in.
Yeah, I'll send you a copy. Chief Bridges also talked to us about, they amended the evidence property policy to say that if someone comes to get the their possessions from the police station. After being arrested, they have to have a court order release. Jeff Smith came to the Board of Works. We opened quotes for the Gas Creek project. There were 2 quotes, one from CNHM excavating for $148,961, and also David Mera, $134,905. Those are being taken under advisement, and decision, I believe, will be made on the 15th of the month. Let's see, also we entered into a contract with Strand for our up to $7,000 for NPDES permit. Mr. Jeff Smith will be glad to explain that to you. Ron May came to the board, the utility relocation agreement for Veterans Way, the TIF, the reorganization, or redevelopment commission is going to be paying for that. $58,268, 80-20 match. Our portion will be $11,652. Change order for Lincoln Street, several items there that came up to $49,993, and we are still, even with that changeover, we're still on target to be under budget for that project. Ashlee had Susie come and talk about the needs of the clerk's office. And I believe that's it. Oh, 350 West. That is the road behind Honda that we agreed to put gravel down, this a thin layer of asphalt. They are bringing in more jobs in that logistics company, and we are looking to enter into the Honda TIF. Will be funding that project to pave that 947 linear feet, approximately. That's all I've got. There'll be a test next month.
Okay. Okay, any other comments, questions, council? Thank you for having patience tonight. Appreciate it. At this time, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. Second?